Hey, Sarah.
Hey, Laura.
Hey, I'm Laura Ludwig. I'm at the Center for Coastal Studies in Provincetown. I'm the director of the Marine Debris and Plastics program. And we just spent about 5 seconds picking up styrofoam, balloon strings, masks, and other litter here on this lovely beach. When I started out as a music major in college, I had no idea that I would spend my life studying plastic and trying to solve some of the problems of plastic in the ocean. I work with commercial fishermen to remove lobster gear and other lost fishing gear from the bottom of the ocean by using sonar and grappling. But I also have a really amazing group of volunteers that I work with to try to clean the beaches of Cape Cod and beyond. Cleaning beaches is a great thing to do, but there's a lot more you can do with it than just picking trash up. And we've been able to really look at what we're collecting on the beaches and do some deep dives into the data to see where we can maybe solve some of the inputs. So in other words, I just picked up another mask, and one of the things that we're trying to do is convey how many masks we find on beaches so people can be a little bit more careful about them falling out of their pockets as they pull their gloves out. Well, a lot of the stuff that we pull off of the beaches is trash. Most of it is trash, but some of it's treasure.
You just pulled that out of your pocket.
Treasure in the form of $1 bills or in the form of materials that can be upcycled or turned into something else, reused in a different way, and kept out of the waste stream. And one of the people that does a lot with that is Sarah, and she'll tell you a little bit about it, but the idea is that if you can convey some information to people who didn't already have it, then you're improving the likelihood that someone might make a different choice down the road. Sarah's conveyance has a very artistic mode. So what is it you bring to our conversation, Sarah?
Hi, so I'm Sarah Thornington. I'm a photographer and also a marine debris artist. I got started in marine debris art because I was picking up just masses of trash every time I went to the beach, every time I walked my dog. And I decided to do a project where I kept track of everything I picked up. I did a beach cleanup every day for a year, and I kept track of all of the plastic. I counted it, I sorted it, I washed it and cleaned it all. And I ended up with almost 20,000 pieces, over 20,000 pieces of plastic that year, which I continue to keep going and getting free art supplies from the beach. But so I decided after having all of that amount of trash that I needed to do something with it. So what I have decided to do is I create art, I have shows, I have workshops, I have presentations, and I make all of my art out of stuff that I pick up and stuff that Laura and the Beach Brigade find on their cleanups as well now. For a while I was very particular about only using my own debris, but now I'm like, it doesn't matter whose debris it is. This is a little puffin here that I made, just completed. He's made out of a lot of zip ties and strapping bands and even a tire from a child's toy. And one of the things that I found today is balloon strings. I found a bunch of balloon strings while we were cleaning up for that literally a minute, and we found handfuls of trash. And so this will hopefully start bringing legislation about no more balloon releases on the Cape. There's already a bunch of towns on Cape Cod that don't allow balloon releases, but there still are a lot that do. So it's data like this that helps us to get people to realize how much debris we're finding out here on our shores.
It is a really good thing to clean trash off of beaches, regardless of what you do with it at the end of it, but it's an even better thing if you can count it and sort it, catalog it, and get it over time, so you have a good base of information to then take it up to the next level. We collect lobster trap ID tags here around Cape Cod and on the coast of New Hampshire and Maine, and each tag has identifying information on it so that we can then find out how far it's traveled and how old it is. And our hope is that we're going to be able to change some of the regulations about identifying marks on lobster traps so that we can remove that item from the waste stream. So far, I think we have about 14,000 lobster trap tags that we found in our collections. How does somebody get into this? Well, my father was a big beachcomber, and he would always bring home all the rope that he found on our islands in Maine when I was a little kid. And I think that you don't know exactly where you're going in life until you get there. Yes. And I've spent 20 years working with plastics, and I would encourage anyone who is interested in the science of polymerization to take that information with you when you clean your beach, because plastics are petroleum based for the most part, and there's a lot of, the jury's out on plant-based plastics right now because the polymer is actually essentially the same, so the results are the same if they're not treated quite right. Beach cleanups are just one way of providing data toward any kind of action items. When I collect all this stuff and I get to work with artists like Sarah, it is a way of communicating the issue of plastics in a marine environment and of instilling action in the people who are seeing it. So a lot of the hundreds of thousands of pounds of fishing gear that we remove from the ocean gets turned into sculptures that then can tell a story about where it came from and what it's used for. And so a lot of our effort is to try to educate people who may not have thought of plastic in quite that way. It's everywhere.
It is everywhere. And so one of the ways that we keep track of what we do is Center for Coastal Studies has a tally form that lists all the different types of debris that we have that's specific to the Cape, so that we can keep track of it that way. I also use Ocean Conservancy has an app that I use on my phone, so that I can enter it manually while I'm in the field. Both have challenges but they're so important. It's so important to track what you find, because I can find this, I can make as many puffins as I want out of this, but until we have actual physical data of how many masks we're finding, how many balloons we're finding, how many little cigar tips we're finding, things don't get changed. And so with Laura, we have the Beach Brigade, which is fantastic. I'll let her tell you about it, but she's, got this great group of people. But for me individually, it's tricky because...
That's the right whale plane going by. They're surveying for right whales.
Because you can't do it all by yourself. If it's too cold or too windy or whatever, it's hard to track things on your phone. It's hard to have a piece of paper that's blowing about outside. So then it just adds time and dedication.
Well, and it really has been my practice to take it all home, dump it out on a table afterward, and count it in a nice quiet room with no snow, no ice, no wind, no rain, and about 12 volunteers. So please join the Beach Brigade near you, get some data, clean some beaches, and make some art.
And look at why the trash is ending up on the beach in the first place, and how you can do to stop it ever getting here. Thanks so much.
Thanks, guys. Well,
you can leave that in there.
I know this is for the one-eared man.